Right, finally I managed to get back out on the trail. April the 5th today, and it's a Wednesday just before Easter, and as I say, after 5 weeks absence, mainly due to the weather, what an atrocious march it was. In terms of wind, that's my main enemy, and some rain showers as well. Wettest march we've had for a long time. But a couple of rail strikes mixed in there as well, meaning today, an unusual day for me, Wednesday. Didn't fancy Good Friday, but I've decided to come out today down here to Kent to do a country walking magazine 10.4 mile walk, Chillum circular effectively, and I'm starting here at the station, which is a little bit outside the village. And the reason I've come today is because the end of the week is also a bit questionable weather-wise as well. So today it's cloudy, but at least dry. That's the main thing. It's around at 12:05, and even today hasn't got off onto a good footing either, because I got the high speed down to Canterbury West. There should have been a 4-minute interval enabling me to catch the train here to Chillum from Canterbury West, and even that failed to happen. The high speed train was 4 minutes late, and the train I should have been on going to Charing Cross was pulling out as we pulled in. So consequently, 16 quid taxi fare, horrendous. So I'll try and put in a bit of a claim on that, but I won't get anything like the money back. What a palaver, eh? Anyway, let's crack on, see what awaits us. Clearly in the background here you can hear a chiff-chaff, and they arrived about 5 weeks ago. I've missed a lot of spring, my favourite season already. Very annoying. But yeah, I think in the last video I noticed a blackcap, early arrival, maybe an overwinterer. But yeah, the old chiff-chaffs now are definitely out in abundance. Good to hear. So as I say, let's crack on. Okay, a couple of minutes from the station, crossing the rail line here at Chillum Mill level crossing, and I'm back onto the GPX track, which I'm following today in an anti-clockwise direction, because the walk does start in the village itself. Clearly that's organised for car drivers, so I've altered it slightly here by a couple of 100 yards at the beginning. Approaching Chillum Mill, which is in a part of Chillum called Bagham. So as you can see, we're on the Stour Valley Walk, and a couple of viewers have commented that I haven't been down in Kent for about 6 months, which is indeed correct. Last walk was Station Down, Y, and that was a country walking walk if I remember correctly. So about time I was back in Kent. Quite an interesting old building. Walking over the Great Stour. Clearly water levels are very high now. All the reservoirs that I've read about recently have been replenished during March, which is good to hear. Yet getting emails from our local water company, you'd still think was in a drought restriction period. Incredible. The mill from another angle, which is clearly being renovated presently. This seems vaguely familiar. I think I might have done this on a Saturday walkers walk many moons back. This particular section anyway. Ascending Julieberry Down on the map, and there is a long barrow marked on the map somewhere over there on the right. Got height today of 480 foot and a low of around 70. So a few ups and downs to come, which will be good for me, because over the last few weeks I've obviously had to walk locally just to keep in shape, and distances are much less than today, so this will be a good workout. God rest his soul. Another man lost his life to war. Pointless, futile war. And talking of which, the one in the Ukraine is still going on, and if anything looks like it might even escalate now, with the Finns putting up that NATO wall. Yeah. View back towards Chillum. As a blackbird in the background joins the chorus. As I mentioned last time, it's not often you hear the song thrush at this time of day. Go right here, NCN 18, Cather's seat. And it's quite amazing how the trees have suddenly sprung into life over the last month. I think the blackthorn's already been and gone, I've missed that. Considering how much rain we have had, it's quite amazing this path is bone dry. Okay, obviously this time of year, plenty of identification needed. No idea what that is. And unfortunately I still have the same camera. The new one hasn't arrived from Japan yet, so the intervening 5 weeks would have been a useful time to practice with it, but I haven't had the opportunity. So it looks like I'll be straight into it whenever they arrive. Some kind of warbler there. There they go, a pair of them. Don't know which one from this distance. Not very good on warblers. So this is Cather's seat. You can Google that to learn more. www.cathersseat.org, because I'm not sure what it's all about, unfortunately. And that's the view from Cather's seat. Getting partly affected by some brambles. As you can see, there's a pair of them there. We're actually overlooking Chilman's down here per the map. And as you can hear in the background, skylarks are abundant. So at this juncture, the NCN 18 continues on ahead there, but we take this sharp left, or half left, which is still the Stour Valley Walk. Of course, as we're in Kent, the old styles are abundant. I believe there's about 18 on this walk today, certainly a teen number, might be 13, can't recall off the top of my head. And of course I missed the lambing season, so the young lambs are now growing at a rate of knots, almost adolescent in their lifespan. Still, at least it's not cattle, although I do envisage meeting some today from memory. Nice muddy section here. Views down towards the A28 between Canterbury and Ashford. A couple of oasts down there, or an oast. Yeah, decent vista. And in the background I can hear some trees being cut, which of course really they shouldn't be at this time of year. End of February is the close of the season. Wildlife and Countryside Act 1982. Lots of these little purple flowers around as well, which I don't think are periwinkles because they're too low lying. Somebody will be able to enlighten us. They do like chalky soil because we've got them up our way as well. And they've got a leaf a bit like a primrose there, haven't they? And then talk of the devil. Lovely. Always seem to be bang on cue for Easter, don't they? Primroses. Very pleasant section of walking here on the edge of the woodland. Field or downs just on the right there, on the other side of this belt. Yeah, there's the logging activity, but I wonder how they're getting around the Wildlife Act, because obviously birds are nesting at the moment. They won't be there. I saw this going on up my way as well a couple of days ago, and actually did bump into the guy doing it, but at the time I was knee deep in mud and forgot to ask him how he got round the act, because it applies to all landowners, including the king, who clearly wouldn't be doing that anyway, being the eco-friendly chap that he is. Come out of the wooded belt, decent view on my right. Sun's still shining, which is good, but the gusts are a bit stronger than was forecast, I feel. I was expecting a very still day today. Upper Thruxted Farm over there on my right. Our onward journey, however, is not down that lane, but over another stile into woodland here. And below me, there's the old song thrush. Having said that he rarely sings at this time of day. Wonderful. So yeah, here's the remnants of the blackthorn. It's already coming into leaf. Little buds everywhere. And there's an old ash that looks like it's on its last legs. And that hasn't yet come into leaf. So I'll have a little look for an oak. See which ones come out first. The old saying. Oak before ash, in for a splash. Ash before oak, in for a soak. So I'd imagine, based on March, that the oak would have come out first. Let's see. Got the tail end of the great tit singing now. As we enter April, that'll die off. He's pretty much done his job. Got his mate somewhere in a nest. She's on the eggs. Another one of those cockeyed double-topped styles, and I really don't see the point. What purpose does that serve? apart from causing an inconvenience for the less able. Yeah. Okay, turn right here, just by Woodsdale Farm, or near Woodsdale Farm on the map. Two little cuties there, not very old at all. About 307 foot up here. Views back whence I've come. Looking north from a point near Blue Downs on the map, looking back towards whence I've come earlier this afternoon. Yeah, you can still hear that tree cutting going on, and a very tiny bit of jet noise. Now I wonder if that's Mansfield Park, aka Godmersham House. Mansfield Park, yeah. I wonder. We passed that some point on the walk, so we'll soon find out. Been in a couple of films if it is. Passing Egerton Manor here on the map. Further views back from around 270 foot up. It's actually a lot brighter this afternoon than I was anticipating. Good old Met said it'd be cloudy. Thankfully they got that wrong. But as they have with the wind, which is south-southwesterly at the moment, and a bit stiffer than I was expecting. So if there's any interference on commentary, that'll be why. Plenty of buzzards around, as you may be able to hear in the background. That wood over on my left there is Egringe Wood on the map, which features on the Saturday Walkers Club walk from Y Station to Chillum, amongst others. We'll soon be coming up towards Soul Street, where their lunchtime pub is, but that doesn't actually feature on this track, and I'm aiming for lunch at Crundale Church, St Mary the Virgin. More wonderful Kentish downland views. Now following a short section through Egringe Wood before we reach Soul Street. Wonderful. Now about to cross open access land. And thankfully we can, as it's a wonderful vista. It is getting a bit hazier now, I must admit. Another splash of the old blackthorn remnants. Wonderful. Yeah, another decent vista. Good timing from the old cockerel. Okay, I do remember this pew many years back. walking it in the other direction, mind you. So coming from Soul Street, and it is indeed a decent view. I think the last time I was here filming this particular view wasn't such a good day, even greyer than today. So at this juncture, follow this byway, which looks rather ominous in terms of mud, towards Church Wood, and shortly thereafter lunch. Yeah, that's a good idea. Limit the access to these byways, because obviously during those particular months is when it gets most churned up. So as you can see, thankfully there aren't any today. This belonging to Hunt Street Farm. Interesting use of old inner tubes there, that they act as a kind of spring, close the gate. Yeah, very clever. Another oast over there. Might be Hunt Street Farm. Decent views back again. The old skylark there, just taken off, been disturbed by that tractor. Wonderful, as is the Vaughan Williams song, Ode to a Skylark. Wonderful. Well, there we go, first bluebell of the season in Churchwood here, very early. And it's not just one or two, no, several. The whole woodland floor is about to erupt. Could be out for Easter this weekend. Amazing. Okay, the GPX track goes off that way, right, but I'm diverting slightly, a couple of 100 yards, to have my lunch at the church, as I said, at Crundale. So here we are, St Mary the Virgin, Crondale Church. I don't remember this, although I was here previously. As usual, God rest their souls. Not so many again in the Second World War, probably because the male population was depleted by the First. Yeah. Very difficult to get a shot of this church, unfortunately. There are two seats outside the church in the car park area, but I'm going to take this one, as is my wont, the only one in the churchyard, in memory of Anne Otley, who loved children, the countryside and this church.
6 miles. Total time 2 hours 38 minutes and 18 seconds. Split pace 24 minutes 58 seconds per mile.
So as you just heard, bang on 6 miles at this point, so a good position for the church, for the route I'm doing in the anti-clockwise direction. This church makes a good lunchtime stop, just over halfway round, because I anticipate this walk becoming around 11 miles the way I'm doing it. A couple of errors made as well thus far. Anyway, 5 to 3 and I'm famished. At least I haven't got to worry about the night falling in now either. Wonderful. Got until half 7, 8 o'clock now. Brilliant. Lunch is served. Okay, 3:30, lunch has been had. Time to press on. Let's have a look inside the church, I think, if I can get in. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned today is that during the intervening 5 weeks, I have been out and acquired a new pair of boots. Not the ones I was intending to get. I gave up with the German Meindls at 250 quid a pair, and instead got a pair of Keens because they were readily available and also come in a wide fitting. So in terms of my foot pain, it has decreased slightly because the shoes are wide and it spreads the pain across the width of the boot. So from that perspective it's helpful. I've also had some acupuncture during these 5 weeks. That's helped a bit as well. So I think I might be able to ride this for a while. Let's see how it goes. But these boots are very comfortable. Keen Targi 3, about 100 quid. As I say, the ones I was looking at, Meindl, were 250, but they just never came in. They were having problems getting them in from Germany. So I've saved myself a lot of money there, which is good. And these do exactly the same job. They're particularly comfortable if I put a Sauberthane double shock inside them as well. Replace their inserts with my own Sauberthanes. I can't do any more than I'm doing now in terms of impact. Really are comfortable. So let me see how they last today, because I've only walked locally with these boots so far. Today will be the longest I've done in them, so I'll make comment at the end, I think. Interesting message there in the storm porch now as we enter, hopefully. As often happens in these remote rural places, you can get get sight of the electoral roll. Not many people here. You know, some of them might not have bothered to go on the roll. Such is the state of our politics at the moment. They've even remembered the hand sanitizer. Very good. Nice bit of lead window there. So it is open. Wonderful little church. I think I filmed this previously. Because I commented on the organ, pretty sure of that. Unusual to get the organ being played amongst the congregation, eh? Obviously we're entering the holiest week now for all denominations. Christians, Christians, Muslims and Jews all celebrating something or other around about this time. And looking back, there's a little WC through this door, I noticed. So there are still services here at St Mary the Blessed Virgin. Each month. Amazing how these places keep going. So I can't really improve on the image I'm getting now for this church, but it'll give you some idea. Lovely little place. Nice and serene and nice and wild as well. Even though it's still in use, lots of old graves here. As you can see, there's one seat there and one just the other side of this yew tree. And they have a pretty decent vista. Depends what you want really. I like the birdsong and tranquility of the graveyard. Others might prefer sitting in peace looking at this. Minus the smoke. So there you go. It's fair enough, I guess. Pretty decent vista. Just encountered my first other walker today, which is quite good. Don't like too many on my rambles. Don't recognise that bird. If anyone knows what that is, amazing. No, it's got me, that has. Just walking alongside Viney's Wood. Just walking alongside Viney's Wood, as I say, with its carpet of bluebells and starflowers, I think they're called from memory. Now looking up the valley from a different angle, lower down now, about 200 foot. Still on the Stour Valley Walk. As a yellowhammer sings in the background there. Another section of quiet country lane walking now. About 7 mile in. Skirting through Godmersham, going under the rail line here. Walking over the Great Stour once again. And as you can see by the levels up the banks, nicely full. Though for how long that remains, we'll see, because what I'm noticing today underfoot is it is very dry despite all the rain we've had. Sad to read that so many of our rivers are so polluted at the moment. Shocking, eh? I think that was my last comment on the last video about the Wye down in South Wales, the Wye and the hen farms polluting the water. So ABDO, the Association of British Dispensing Opticians, this is now their home, whereas previously it was the home of Jane Austen's brother. You can research that Godmersham Park is believed to be the inspiration for Mansfield Park, which is yonder. Information panel here about Godmersham Park. How wonderful to watch these little lambs. Such a shame they're going to become not pork chops, but lamb chops in a not too distant probably. Sad, eh? They might be kept for their wool if they're lucky. Such a hard life, eh? Lazy Wednesday afternoon. Yeah. So obviously I can't get a good shot of Godmersham Park, but it's a big old place. Lovely surroundings as well. And this brings back memories. I've done this section before as well. Saturday Walkers Club walk, but I can't remember which one. Yeah, so I'm headed right for the top there if I recall. See, there's the house from another angle now as I ascend. Wind picks up and the cloud cover increases. Rain is forecast this evening, hopefully after I've finished. Lovely setting there. Walking alongside Felborough Wood, and again bluebells are out already. Can't remember seeing them at this time of year previously, Easter. Conditions must be just right this year. Lots of water. So as you can see, we've now joined the North Downs Way as we move away from the woodland. Shortly anyway. Wonderful little cluster of those flowers again. Sure it's a star flower. So as you can see, I've just passed a digger and a gang of men resurfacing the North Downs Way at this point. It is pretty rutted in places, though I've seen worse. And strangely enough, the remainder of this road or lane is called Mountain Street. Leads into a hamlet called Mountain Street as well. And there goes one of those said little pieces of machinery. And here's the aggregate that they're using. One mile to Chillum, apparently. 5:15 now. Lots of thinning been going on here. Lots of mature trees taken down. Don't know why. Look at this. All we got left now, a few saplings. What good's that to the wildlife? Passing through the hamlet of Mountain Street. Continuing along this quiet lane into Chillum. Now look at the colour of this stream. I've seen this before and I can't remember what causes it. Some kind of copper in the underlying rock bed, I think, as opposed to agricultural runoff. Yeah, where was it? I saw it in Bedfordshire somewhere. One of those walks. Does look rather sickly, doesn't it? As though there's no life in that. So coming out of Mountain Street and the North Downs Way, our onward journey is up School Hill. I could cheat, knock about 10 minutes off the walk and do a right here, get me to the station quicker, but I'm not going to. Passing the Church of England school here in Chillum, with reminders of those fateful days a few years back now. Castle Cottage just behind this wall, as is most of the most of the buildings associated with the castle. There is the church, which seems to be an hour behind the rest of the country. The church mouse over there, which I believe is some kind of cafe. The castle is a private residence now. Used to be owned by a spread betting magnate, IG I think it was, but he died recently, possibly during COVID, so someone else is in charge now. Castle gardens are open, mind you, as there. And you've got a White Horse, possible tea time stop. Some nice sort of mock Tudor, or possibly they are Tudor actually, looking at them. Can't recall filming this previously, but I probably did. Haven't watched that video probably since I made it. Got them all stacked up ready for when I retire, if I ever do. Yeah, as I thought, tea rooms. Information panel here about the North Downs Way. In the grounds of St Mary's, Chillum. Very nice church. Still maintains a post office, which is interesting for a small place. 1,800 people I think live in this village. Passing what was the old forge by the looks of it, now called Old Ford Garage. Old Forge Garage even. So there you go, 1488 this pub dates back to. The Woolpack Inn. So two hostelries in this small place, and a railway station and a post office. I bet it's popular on the sales market. Well, as I suspected, I've managed to turn that 10.4 mile walk into 12.1 because of the extension here from Chillum, plus a couple of wrong turns during the walk. So that's 12.1 miles, 4 hours 53, and the conclusion of that walk is that it was very good.